7:25. I'll call the meeting to order and ask for the roll call, please.
Councilmember Abdelgawad.
Here.
Councilmember Baker.
Present.
Councilmember Barber.
Present.
Councilmember Burke.
Present.
Councilmember Circo.
Present.
Councilmember Ingert.
Present.
Councilmember Holman.
Present.
Councilmember Mills absent. Mayor Turnbow.
Present. We do have a quorum. Would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have no presentations or awards this evening or personal appearances, so we'll move on to staff reports. Mr. Fearborn.
Thank you, sir. I would ask Mr. Salisbury to make a staff report for Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. Fearborn. Just a couple of projects I want to highlight. The Sunset Lane project is moving forward. They're going to be doing some subgrade work here in the next week or two, and then hopefully sometime in April, May timeframe be putting down paving and continue to move forward with that project. The Owen Good Force Main Replacement Project there off Haystack is moving forward. They're starting to lay new pipe, so that'll be a month or so of laying pipe, but they're moving right along. And then another project I want to highlight is the Dean Avenue 195th Street project. They've placed the bridge deck, the road. When you go out there, you can kind of see where Dean Avenue is going to be. They're working on the retaining wall, and so it's coming along, and it's on schedule as expected. And as far as our operations side, they're just wrapping up winter weather operations and moving into our spring and summer projects. So that concludes my staff report, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Salisbury? Seeing none, back to Mr. Fearborn.
Thank you, Mr. Salisbury. I would ask Mr. Mustine to make a staff report for Parks and Recreation.
Thank you, sir. Mayor, members of the council, I've submitted a written staff report. Just a couple of highlights. Our Easter Festival's coming up. Just a reminder that for a long time that was at Memorial Park, but it is at Recreation Park for I think the third year in a row now. Seems to be working very nicely for us and accommodate the growing numbers. We expect a pretty large crowd with a late Easter holiday this particular season. Also, our spring sports, soccer started this past weekend. We have volleyball, flag football starting this coming Saturday, and baseball signups end on April 6th. And so far, according to our numbers, as of today, the sports that have started, Raymore continues to lead in registrations and number of teams in the South Metro cities, and that includes Grandview. So my team continues to do a good job on providing youth sports activities. We are taking vendors for the farmers market, relocating to TB Hanna this year. The bridges at Memorial Park are complete and they look fantastic. If you haven't driven by there and seen those, they look really good. This is a nice upgrade. And our next project for the trails maintenance, the replacement and work on the trails is going out to bid for proposals currently, and that should be a late summer project or a summer, late, early fall project.
Is that the Stonegate?
That'll be Stonegate area, the linear park trails.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Cool.
And that concludes my staff report. Happy to answer any
Thank
questions.
you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Mustine? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Fearborn.
Thank you, Mr. Mustine. I would ask Ms. Harmer to make a report for communications.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Fearborn. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. I am happy to announce that the Arts Commission has been awarded a $1,200 Missouri Arts Council Express Touring Grant. And this grant is a reimbursement grant to provide live entertainment at the exhibit and awards reception for the second annual Power of Perspectives art competition that's on April 25th at Centerview. This is our first grant from the Missouri Arts Council. It will not be the last. They are very excited about the things happening in Raymore on our art scene. And there will be other opportunities for funding, so stay tuned for that. So that's really exciting. Also, the public safety sales tax will be on the April 8th ballot. Mailers are ready to go out later this week to everyone in the 64083 area code. And there are small postcards in front of you with information relating to the public safety sales tax as well. That's all I have this evening for you.
Is there anything different, Melissa, from the card that we have here this evening that's a handout to the postcard that's going out?
The other one's larger.
I thought it would be
All
just
of the
a little bit
information
bigger.
is the
Same
same.
information.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right, thank you. Any questions of Mrs. Harmer? Yeah, so if you guys have an opportunity with that, I mean, it is an education piece, and I think does provide a clear understanding of what that funding would be used for. I think it'll be extremely helpful in getting people to understand what we're asking them for. So if you could please, when you meet folks in the public, hopefully you're supportive of this and you'll hand those out. Thank you. Mr. Fearborn.
Thank you, sir. I would ask Ms. Hill to make a report from the city clerk's office.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. The city adopts an ordinance every other year establishing procedures to disclose potential conflicts of interest. This ordinance calls for Jim Fearborn as the Chief Administrative Officer and Kim Quaddy as the Chief Purchasing Officer to file financial disclosure statements annually before May 1. Both statements have been filed with the Missouri Ethics Commission and are on file and available for inspection in my office. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of Ms. Hill? All right. Mr. Fearborn, anything else?
Thank you, Ms. Hill. Just want to remind the council that next week is the 5th Monday, so there is no meeting scheduled at this time. Our next work session will be on Monday, April 7th. And then just wanted to remind the council that your next legislative business meeting, which will be April 14th, is the night that we have the odd 2 meetings schedule. And you have a regular meeting to start to handle special business, which is only certifying the results of the elections. And then you have a special meeting immediately following that to handle regular business. It's just kind of an odd quirk of our code and our charter at this particular time. And those are in accordance with, if you're wanting to look that up, those are in accordance with section 110, 170 and 9.3 of the charter. Following that, 2 weeks following that, on April 28th, in accordance with section 110, 210 of city code and section 3.5 of the charter, that is the meeting where the council selects from among your membership the mayor pro tem for the next year. And in accordance with city code 465020B1, there will be an agenda item where the mayor announces if he intends to serve as an active voting member on the Planning and Zoning Commission, and the council makes a decision from among your membership if you want to have one of you also serve. It's not an either or, they can both be in position to do that. That concludes staff reports tonight, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Fearborn. Any questions of Mr. Fearborn at this time? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move right along here. Next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. We have 2 items on the consent agenda this evening. I would entertain a motion to dispose of the consent agenda in any or part of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Holman.
So I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented to include item A, the city council meeting minutes from the meeting of March 10th, 2025, and appointment of Mike Van Aken to the Park Board.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Yes, sir, I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Van Aken. Ms. Abdelgawad. Sorry about that. I was looking at the name here. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 7-0. Thank you. We'll now move on to unfinished business. Could I please have the second reading of Bill 3950 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3950 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with CFS Engineers to provide on-call materials testing services.
Thank you, ma'am. If there are no further questions, I'd entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Holman?
So I move that we approve Bill 3950, award of contract for on-call material testing to CFS Engineers.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Abdelgawad. The motion's been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3950. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 7-0. Thank you. Could I please have the second reading of Bill 3948 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3948 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, voiding ordinance 2024-056 and terminating all authorizations, acts, and conditions provided for therein.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any questions on this item? If there are no further questions, I'd entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Holman?
Sir, I move that we approve Bill 3948, the voting ordinance 2025-056, and terminating authorizations.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Your Honor, if we might, just for clarification and correction purposes, it should be voiding ordinance 2024-056, I believe.
Oh, yeah, I think we had that same typo last
Yep.
week as well.
It's
We had-
correct in the following, or the
Right.
reference beneath it, but if we can
Right.
get that corrected, that'd be great.
All right.
I
Thank you,
read
sir.
from the wrong line. I will rescind and amend my motion to read voiding ordinance 2024-056 and terminating authorizations.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Abdul-Gawad. The motion's been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3948. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 7-0. Thank you. Okay, please have the second reading of Bill 3940 by title only.
The second reading of Bill 3940 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, amending the Administrative Policy Manual reflecting changes in the calculation of vacation and sick time into one category, paid time off, PTO.
I know there were questions on this previously. Hopefully, everything's nice and clear on this, but I'm going to pause for a second to see if there's any additional questions. If there are none, I'd entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Holman.
Sir, I move that we approve Bill 3940, amendment to the Administrative Policy Manual regarding paid time off.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Yes, sir, I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Abdul-Gawad. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3940. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carries unanimously, 7-0. Thank you. Could I please have the second reading of Bill 3953 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3953 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, amending and adding 2 additional paid holidays to the Administrative Policy Manual. The 2 additional holidays will be Juneteenth, June 19th, and an additional floating holiday.
Thank you, ma'am. If there are no further questions, I'd entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Holman.
Sir, I move that we approve Bill 3953, amendment to the Administrative Policy Manual regarding paid holidays.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Abdul-Gawad. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3953. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 7-0. Thank you. Could I please have the second reading of Bill 3945 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3945 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, approving and authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract to purchase the property at 317 North Jackson Street, Raymore, Missouri, 64083, in the amount of $115,000.
Thank you, ma'am. If there are no further questions, I'd entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Holman.
Sir, I move that we approve Bill 3945, purchase of real estate located at 317 North Jackson Street.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Abdul-Gawad. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3945. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 7-0. Thank you. Could I please have the second reading of Bill 3951 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3951 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the city manager to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Raymore Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, ma'am. If there are no further questions, I'd entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Holman.
Sir, I move that we approve Bill 3951, memorandum of understanding with the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Abdul-Gawad. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3951. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 7-0. Thank you. And the last item under old business, could I please have the second reading of Bill 3952 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3952 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, vacating a portion of a utility easement located on Lot 304 in Westbrook at Creekmore 10th Plat, a subdivision in the City of Raymore, Cass County, Missouri.
Thank you, ma'am. If there are no further questions, I'd entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Holman.
Sir, I move that we approve Bill 3952, a utility easement vacation for the property located at 1200 Serenity Court.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Abdelgawad. The motion's been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3952. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously 7-0. Thank you. We'll now move on to new business. Could I please have the first reading of Bill 3949 by title only?
The first reading of Bill 3949 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Terry Snelling Construction, Inc. for the 2025 curb replacement project, city project number 25469201, in the amount of $928,810, and authorizing the city manager to approve change orders within established budget constraints.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a staff report?
Just a reminder to the council that this was the bill that we had written to you all on, that we had the numerical error on where we had repeated Bill 3950 twice. So the new bill actually rolled back to being 3949, which is in front of you this evening. And with that, I will ask Mr. Salisbury to make a report on this agenda item.
Thank you, Mr. Fearborn. Tonight before you is the award of contract for the 2025 curb project. It was brought to you in work session on February 24th. It went out to bid right after that. We received 6 bids, and Terry Snelling Construction was the lowest bidder for, I believe, the 10th or 11th straight year now. It was a lot tighter this year than in previous years. And one thing to note is that the price of curb actually is down about $1 and some change from last year. So it did come in quite a bit under budget like we were hoping, so we should be able to add some additional roads. But that concludes my staff report. We're recommending award to Terry Snelling Construction. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Salisbury? If there are no further questions, I'd entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Holman?
Sir, I move that we approve Bill 3949, award of contract for the 2025 curb project to Terry Snelling Construction Incorporated.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Yes, sir, I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Abdelgawad. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the first reading of Bill 3949. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously 7-0. Thank you. Could I please have the first reading of Bill 3957 by title only?
The first reading of Bill 3957 by title only, an ordinance authorizing the taxable industrial revenue bonds, KCI Raymore Building 5 LLC project, Series 2025, related to an industrial development project in the city, and authorizing the city to enter into certain agreements and take certain other actions.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a staff report?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd ask Ms. Lee to begin the staff report on this agenda item.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I will introduce this agenda item and then invite Ms. Sarah Granath, our Economic Development Counsel with Gilmore and Bell, and Mr. Grant Harrison with Van Trust Real Estate to provide additional details. The request before the Council this evening is approval of Chapter 100 bonds for Building 5 in the Raymore Commerce Center South. The development agreement that allows for the Chapter 100 bonds to be utilized was approved in March of 2023. I would like to invite Ms. Sarah Granath up to provide an additional staff report on this item, followed by Mr. Grant Harrison.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. Sarah Granath with Gilmore and Bell. As Jordan mentioned, this has a little bit of a history, so I just wanted to go over first a quick overview of Chapter 100. I know there are a couple new members from the last time that we've actually issued bonds, so I want to provide a brief overview of that and then a short history just of the development agreement and what tonight's action is specifically. So Chapter 100 bonds, also known as industrial revenue bonds, are called Chapter 100 based on the statute that they are in. And it's basically abatement, property tax abatement that's provided by the virtue of city ownership of the land, similar to a police car if it's personal property or city hall for real estate. If a city owns it, it comes off the tax rolls. So that's kind of the basis of what this is. The process is a Chapter 100 plan is developed along with a cost-benefit analysis. These are mailed to taxing districts that are impacted by the plan, and a public hearing is held. At this public hearing, taxing districts and the public are welcome to speak, and a development agreement is sometimes passed at that point or later on in the process, but that's kind of that first step. The second step, where we are tonight, would be the bond issuance. And so this is where the city approves the various documents that actually effectuate the tax abatement. That includes issuing, or the city taking title to the property and issuing bonds, and then the company leasing it back. So once the city takes title, the company will immediately lease back the property, and then the city will issue industrial revenue bonds. The company pays rental payments that are equal to the debt service payments on those industrial revenue bonds as an offset. It's actually a paper transaction because the company buys their own bonds. Now, these bonds are very much unlike the special obligation bonds or general obligation bonds you may be familiar with. These are obligations solely of the company, and there's no recourse or liability to the city or the city's credit. At the end of the abatement period, the bonds will be fully paid off, purchased, and the property will be transferred back to the company, and the city has no more interest in the property or the project. Now, the various documents that have been approved both with the development agreement and will be approved or considered tonight protect the city's interests in various ways. Some of those are a requirement for payment and performance bonds, an environmental study called a Phase 1 study, insurance, both general liability and property insurance, and it effectuates what's called a triple net lease. So essentially the company takes on all responsibilities of the property, maintenance, the insurance, things like that. There are also various events of default. One specifically that I like to highlight is if the company doesn't perform, if they don't build what they say they're going to build, then you, city, has the right to come in and essentially unravel the transaction, transfer the property back to the company, which puts it back on the tax rolls and gets rid of the abatement. So that's kind of a very quick overview of the Chapter 100 process. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are some on that. But moving on to this project in particular. So as Jordan mentioned, the plan and the development agreement for this project were approved in March of 2023. So that's when notice was sent out to taxing districts, a public hearing was held, and that initial approval was provided. The development agreement that was approved at that time outlines the terms of abatement, the various agreements and requirements of the developer at the point in time when this project is enacted. So specifically the terms here, the development agreement provides for 20 years of real property tax abatement, and the actual abatement, the payment in lieu of tax, so again, it comes completely off of the tax rolls. However, you may not want to give the company or any company 100% tax abatement. So you can then contractually require the company to make what's called a payment in lieu of tax, or a pilot payment, annually, and that is paid and then divvied up pro rata based on each taxing district's levy in that given year. And so the pilot requirement here is based on a per square footage of each building as built. So you'll see the plan is actually to activate the abatement by the issuance of a series of bonds per building or phase that's built. So this is building 5 tonight that's being considered. And so because it's hard to predict the future and kind of what the business and global community will want to be built at any given time, we didn't set for building 5, we're going to do $20 of a pilot payment. It's actually based on an as-built per square footage calculation. And so this is both in the development agreement, it's also in the lease agreement that was attached to the ordinance tonight. And it's a breakdown of cents per square foot that will be paid, and it goes up throughout the 20 years. Starts at 3 cents per square foot for the first 5 years, escalates the last 5 years, for example, years 16 through 20 is 71 cents per square foot of the building that will be built. This is estimated to be a 555,000 square foot building. Again, that's an estimate. It will be based on the actual built building. And so that's what was outlined in the development agreement and the plan. Tonight, before you are the bonds, the issuance of the bonds to actually activate that abatement on Building 5. This is the mechanism that implements that abatement that was previously approved in 2023. It also sets the timeline. So the bonds and the documents that are included in tonight's ordinance outline that this is our start date for building 5. And so our 20 years will run from the end of construction of this building 20 years. And so estimated at 2025, because they do anticipate to have the building completed by the end of the year. So the abatement first year would start 2026. During this construction year, they would pay the taxes otherwise due as normal on the property. Additionally, tonight or upon final approval of the ordinance, the land would be transferred to the city and the city would issue those bonds at closing. One last note, and then I will transfer it over to Grant, is that a note on the kind of delay or perceived delay between the March 2023 approval and tonight's first action on the first building. You've probably all noticed the infrastructure improvements that are happening subject to the MoDOT cost share agreement. And so that's been going on in the background, that there's a sales tax exemption certificate approved under this plan and development agreement also with that. And so that's been ongoing. Grant can probably speak a little bit more on that if you have any questions, but I'm happy to answer any questions on the Chapter 100 process or the ordinance and documents before you tonight.
Thank you, Sarah. That's probably one of the best explanations I've heard so far to date, so thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions of Sarah at this time? Thank you so much.
I'll turn it over to Grant. Thanks.
Well, Mr. Harrison's walking up. I'm going to take control of your computers for an image to bring up for Mr. Harrison's presentation.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Grant Harrison, Van Trust Real Estate. It's been far too long since we've been up here, but glad to be back. And for those who I have not met, looking forward to our discussion tonight. As Sarah and Jordan mentioned, we do have a long history, more than I really remembered. We wanted to really thank you tonight for the partnership with the city. It goes back to 2018 when we were first introduced to the 136 acres, what we refer to as Phase 1, our first 3 buildings. I'll condense our timeline, but after 2 years of mutual collaboration, we had the first Chapter 100 plan approved and the zoning, which really laid the groundwork for us to build the first 3 buildings. We closed on the ground, early 2020, started building 1 on a speculative basis. Fall of 2020, Southern Glaciers ended up buying the building, occupies it as an owner occupier. Great employee count, great investment within the building. Because of that, we're able to jump to building 3, the 1 million square foot building that Urban Outfitters and Newly now occupies on a long-term deal. Also major investment within that building. We then jumped to building 2. We don't like to go in order. Another 500,000 square foot building that we have 2 tenants in currently, Harmar and A4. So with this, again, collaboration and success we saw in Phase 1 and the market, and the certainty of outcome the city helped provide, we got the 260 acres to the south under contract. That went through the same process of rezoning and incentives and would accommodate up to 3 million square feet, which you see on the screen right now between building 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Again, a really flexible plan. As Sarah mentioned, we had a lot of infrastructure to get done, a lot of off-site work, a bridge, road improvements, so we've been really hard at work going back to last summer to get that teed up, really ready to go. Even with the uncertainty of the market, we knew we could have a great site here and react when that market came back. Phase 1, we invested over $125 million, well over 1,000 jobs, and that does not touch the investment the companies ended up putting in themselves. So we hope to replicate that on Phase 2. Again, because of all this, because of the incentives, the zoning, the certainty of outcome, the track record we have collectively proven, we are before you tonight to hopefully kick off the next building, Building 5, again skipped Building 4, just for plan reference, with a company in mind. So this is a publicly traded company. They would occupy all 550,000 square feet, commit to a long-term lease, and this is one of many steps we're trying to take to attract them and get them here. We've already started regrading to get this site ready, and this would be one of the fastest deliveries we'd ever signed up for. It'd be December of 25, shell and site done. They would occupy and then kind of ramp up early into next year, and by summer of 26, fully operational. So off to the races if successful with this conversation. So again, we just want to thank you for the opportunity, the relationship. We're not going anywhere. Hopefully you like us because we have another fun project to do together. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Does anybody have any questions of Mr. Harrison? Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. Mr. Fearborn, anything to add?
That'll conclude staff report on this item, sir.
All right, sir. Are there any questions of staff or any of the presenters this evening? If there are none, I'd entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Holman.
Sir, I move that we approve Bill 3957, the Raymore Commerce Center South Chapter 100 bonds.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Yes, sir, I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Abdelgawad. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the first reading of Bill 3957. Any further discussion? Ms. Abdelgawad.
Just a quick comment, just to show appreciation to everyone who presented a very thorough presentation. Obviously left us with no additional questions, so thank you all for your time in preparing for us tonight.
I would echo that. Thank you. If there are no further questions, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously 7-0. Thank you. That concludes the new business. We'll now move on to public comments. If anyone from the public would care to address the council at this time, please step forward, state your name and address for the record. Try to keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. I see no additional presenters coming forward, so we will move on to mayor-council communication. Mr. Burke, I'll start with you this evening, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was going to say that I really appreciated the presentation on Chapter 100 bonds. It was very well done. But also I wanted to echo a couple of constituents reached out and wanted to thank the parks on the bridges. They look great, so we're really happy about that project being done. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Holman.
I don't have anything additional this evening, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Ingert.
Not much other than there's so much going on. I can't keep my breath where I can breathe around here. But no, other than that, no. It was a great presentation. It made a lot of sense to somebody that doesn't understand those kind of things. So thank you very much for your efforts.
Mr. Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to say, echo the sentiments about the presentation tonight. Very well organized and very concise and clear for the Chapter 100. Secondly, I invite everyone to attend the candidate forum on Wednesday. One of the most important, duties of citizens is to vote. And we do have an election coming up April 8th with the quarter-cent sales tax on the ballot, along with every council member and mayor on the ballot. So I urge people to watch or attend Wednesday night to hear where we stand on issues and can make informed decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good, sir. Thank you. And Mr. Circo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, just a real quick update. I met with our council member Mills today. Real quick, he's doing better. He had to be back in the hospital Saturday for surgery again. They found that infection. They got it this time better. So he's doing a lot better than he did before. He's in a chair. Hopefully it'll be a short term and he'll be back here in his seat very soon. So he's doing a lot better. It's good that they caught that this time, the wire right. Yep, he's doing well.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Barber.
Thank you, Your Honor. I can't add to anything that's been said. I agree with everything. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Abdelgawad.
Thank you, sir. The only thing I have to add is just a quick shout out of congratulations to our Arts Commission and Ms. Harmer for that grant that's going to start to support some of our activities from our Arts Commission. That's exciting news. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to congratulate her on obtaining that Arts Commission grant. That's good news. Speaking of grants, Grant Harrison, thank you for continuing with the projects there. Sarah, great presentation tonight. Thank you, Jordan, for putting that all together. We really do appreciate staff's hard work in such a huge project as this, and I'm excited that there is interest already on a building that's not even been started except for the dirt moving, so that's exciting. Let's see. Do I have anything else this evening? I don't think I have anything else this evening. Thank you to everyone for your hard work putting this together. And we'll conclude this evening if we have any reason to go into executive session. All right, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn then.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Holman.
I move that we adjourn this March 24th, 2025 meeting of the Raymore City Council.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Yes, sir.